Ruckus has brought his neighbor Vincent onto the pod for this episode number 161 of the Ruckus and The Menace. Check him out. This is the Ruckus and The Menace.
Challenge accepted.
No. Oh, no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games.
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
There you go.
There it is.
There's the winner. Look at that.
Back.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ruckus and The Menace podcast, episode number 161. I am Ruckus, always calls me Ruckus.
You were about to say... Were you about to say you were me? Were we about to have a role reversal for a second?
No. God damn it.
And I'm Spin as the Menace.
And this episode will be a very special one, but what should we start with?
And let's get right into our studs and duds of the week. And our duds involve football. So my dud goes to the Bengals running back Chase Brown for his comments that he made that his coach Zach Taylor took exception to, as Brown also had moments where he fell short in their loss to the Bears.
All right, so my dud...
Ruckus, I'll let you do your dud. Yep.
My dud is the Sooner kicker Sandal caught with his pants in a funk by Kurt Herbstreit. He literally ripped his pants during pregame. So near, I believe it was probably the later part of the game is when he caught on to that. I'm not entirely sure. I just saw the highlight and thought it was funny, and I didn't have a dud, so there's my dud.
Well, the problem is he ended up like the fool who ripped his pants.
SpongeBob turned into a clown.
Yeah,
and no one ever wants to dance with the fool who ripped his pants.
I knew I was going to throw something along those lines. But our studs involve the World Series, where we eventually will have our guest involved here. But my stud is the Blue Jays relievers for showing some solidarity with the Dodgers in wearing number 51 on the side of their caps for Alex Vesia, who was unable to play in the World Series due to a personal family matter outside of baseball. And then Ruckus?
And then my stud is... It almost seems like I should just do a Macho Man commercial with like a Slim Jim. It's like, oh yeah, here's Yamamoto with the World Series MVP after winning 3 games for his team in the World Series.
And that would be Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, not the Nintendo guy. Right? Is that what we're trying to not confuse?
No. We're not trying to confuse him with Shigeru Miyamoto.
Okay.
It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Oh, did I butcher it?
No, you were trying to eventually go along those lines there, but I was like, you just said Yamamoto here. I was like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I thought it's an alliterative name. So I'm like, okay, is he gonna realize that it's Yoshinobu?
Probably not.
All right, so Ruckus, or I should say, we now move on to Bruce Buffer for our introduction for our special guest.
And it wasn't probably something that you thought about either. And it's none of our real podcast friends. It's more someone even more special. And in this blue corner, fighting out of the blue corner, Ruckus has brought his neighbor Vincent onto the pod for this episode number 161 of the Ruckus and The Menace. Check him out.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, it's definitely been a good experience to have another guest. we haven't had them very often. Mostly it's been either members of our own crew, Alex Ban, our graphic designer, and Saul, another friend of the show who infamously has voted for himself in a game previously. But this is or Ruckus's Pops, but this time it actually is another sports guy in Ruckus's local area. And
And
Vincent, go ahead and tell us.
some would say I don't have a social life, but you would be wrong.
Tough. I mean, for all the times you've talked about playing baseball in the Sandlot, I was very well aware that you had that you had one. So, Vincent, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about you. Kind of some whatever information you want to go ahead and provide here. Maybe some of your favorite teams in various different sports.
Well, I come from LA, so my favorite team is the Dodgers. I was born into a Dodger family. I will forever be a Dodger family. When I got out here a couple years ago, they everybody told me, you're gonna be a Kansas City fan. The Dodgers play at like 9 o'clock in the morning, but I it doesn't matter. I'll watch them at or I'm sorry, not 9 o'clock in the morning, but 9 o'clock at night. Um, like I said, it doesn't matter. I'll watch them at 5. I'll watch them at 9. I'll watch them at 7. I'll watch them at 3. When they played last year in the world or during the postseason, I was at work and I had my phone. I had my phone right next to me while I was working. I'll always be a Dodger fan. Now, football, on the other hand, it's a little bit different because when I was growing up, we didn't have a LA team. I was a Chargers fan for a while, and then actually I switched over to be an Indianapolis Colts fan. Mm. But that was really more for the Peyton Manning
Yeah, the
era.
Peyton Manning era. Yep.
Yeah, I love to watch Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. Reggie Wayne was the wide receiver. Or not the
He had Marvin Harrison,
Marvin Harrison.
Edrin James, Dwight Freeney on defense, Dallas Clark. Pretty
Yeah,
much one of
Dallas
those.
Clark, T.Y. Hilton. Man, they were just a team to watch.
Yeah, I don't think Ty wasn't there. I don't think Ty had a year with Peyton because by the time Ty was there, I think Peyton had already gone off to Denver.
I think it was Andrew Luck that had him.
Oh, is that right? I thought he had at least 1 or 2 years with Peyton.
I don't think Andrew. No, I don't think Peyton had a year with Ty. He did have Brandon Stokely. He had Brandon Stokely. Austin Collie was another one. Oh yeah, all those different Colts receivers. But then also, I mean, I have family out in West Covina who are, even when they were in St. Louis, were, because of a time when they were in LA, they were like, my uncle there is a Rams fan, and then think with West Covina, I think they were a little closer to Anaheim, but
because that's right down the way.
And
no, but yeah, I had family, and they were, we were all mixed up. We had Raider fans, we had Rams fans, we had Charger fans. Some of them were 49er fans, which I can't even stand. I don't even know why they would be 49er fans. But I just, I was a Chargers fan for a while, and then I went over. In my family, I'm the only Colts fan, and they still look at me weird.
Yeah. And I know that, I mean, Ruckus, knowing he's more toward the KCMO end, we knew that was going to be a thing. I'm over in the Beltway, so for me, it was like, okay, we didn't necessarily have a team in DC, but Baltimore was close enough. But I'm a Red Sox fan because of family ties to
Hey,
being Red Sox fans.
I was gonna
And
say we have
then,
Mookie, we have Mookie and Freeman.
oh yeah, and I'm a Freddie Freeman was a Freddie Freeman guy, and I had the nostalgia of, because to kind of tell you, I'm the older member of the pod, where I remember the Braves being on TBS, and you could catch every single Braves game there, and that's how so many Braves fans came about from outside of the city of Atlanta. Was because Ted Turner would have them on TBS all the time.
Yeah, Ron and my coworker told me about that too.
Yep. But on that note, we actually will move on to our Eastwood segment called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
All right, roll on the audio. All right, Spanish, what was good this week?
And our good this week is also the very reason why we have Vincent here, is to pretty much talk about a fantastic finish for the MLB season. The World Series goes the distance, and it was a Game 7 that had all the bells and whistles.
Man, that was probably one of the best series, not let alone Game Sevens that I've ever watched. It was
It's so
insane.
wild.
Oh yeah, because you start out with Toronto looking strong, the series splits, then the series splits again with Toronto having a 3-2 lead going into LA going back to Toronto, and then Toronto just unfortunately not able to close it out. But
Not in the
Toronto had
six.
multiple opportunities in every single game that they lost and just weren't able to cash in.
See, that's the crazy thing too, because there was a lot of people that had a bunch of controversy, and it was just like they had every opportunity. They had the last at bats. They had it, but they couldn't pull the trigger.
But that's also the nature of how baseball is. Sometimes it's not so much how many hits you get, it's when you get them.
Okay, Rocky,
Yeah,
calm down.
exactly.
What?
You
I
said
mean, he's totally right. I mean, you see what Miguel Rojas, he went 30 days without a hit, but when it counted, when it
Wait,
mattered the
I thought it
most,
was, wasn't it 30 days without a hit and even longer without a home run?
yeah, it was even longer without a home run. I don't even
I mean,
know
that's
how
called,
long that
in that
was.
case, that's called your due. He wasn't just due, he was overdue.
Yeah.
and the clutch play
But,
later.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he had
wow.
multiple clutch plays in that
But
series.
there was also an interesting decision to go with a short lead that ultimately resulted in Rojas successfully completing the throw out to the plate. There were a bunch of different things that it's like, as the former Angels manager Ron Washington would say, that's the way to baseball go.
And I think they had the short lead because a lot of their hitters were hitting, they were hitting line drives, so they really needed that short lead just in case Max Muncy, when they were bunting, and he caught that ball right in front of him. He was probably what, 10 feet
Yeah.
inside the grass, and he was able to just pick that line drive. It was crazy.
Yeah, or in those situations, okay, you've got a short lead in case you're there with less than 2 out. Okay, deep fly ball scores and you win the game.
Yeah. And
That's why I think
that's one of
That's why the short lead was probably more used than anything else, is because they weren't expecting a hard hit grounder to Rojas. It was going to be more of like they were going for a fly ball to get it into the air and stay out of the infield to win a game.
Yeah, and that's really on Yamamoto. He threw that ball. He threw what, a slider down and away, and that he went chasing after it. And once you go chasing
And,
after something, that'll do it right there. Nine
yep,
times out of 10, you're gonna drop it right on the ground. It's gonna go right. It's gonna go right into the infield.
yep. Especially because you end up getting on top of the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bad, as we kind of will follow up here, along with questionable decision making that ended up having some moments in Game 7 of the World Series. Our bad this week is some questionable decision making in the Miami Dolphins in choosing to fire the GM, but maybe not also having Mike McDaniel included in that and benching Tua.
Yeah. I I saw a discussion thing about how either the team could cut him at the start of the season and have a dead cap of like about 30 to 40 million or something like that, or they could try to get a team that would take his contract or was willing to take him, but then the Dolphins would pay out that contract for them instead of the team that would be receiving him getting the contract.
But I wouldn't be surprised. But I wouldn't be surprised over time if that ends up becoming possible. I thought McDaniel was gonna go. I thought they would have actually went and pulled the trigger on him, but unfortunately, the NFL's version of logic, unfortunately, is going to be staying around at least until the end of the season.
The incredible true story moves on.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the confessions of his dangerous mind end up resulting in him being fired, which will then please everybody.
I mean, I feel like the Dolphins just need to just get it together. It seems like the Dolphins are trying to do what Sean Payton did in Denver.
I think we're definitely at that point where there's some things that have that questionable decision making.
Well, there's also bonehead decision making as well with the just signing talent. Like instead of growing it more, you just decided to buy the talent rather than invest in the younger people.
I don't know. They organically have built up Jalen Waddle. They organically have built up potential with Devon Achane. So they have pieces that have been able to do something.
Well, also it didn't help that the injuries made it worse. Like Jalen Waddle for most of his rookie career has been
and Tua,
the leg
Tua's
injury.
had some development and concussion issues, but Tua was also going into the league with a major injury issue. So, I mean, there were a bunch of flight risks going into some of the things before McDaniel was even brought in. And McDaniel has not necessarily been the best coach to be able to help some of those flight risk issues, as they've kind of progressively had the bell curve go downward.
All right.
And speaking of a bell curve going downward, the downright ugly and the downward bell curve of the health of Jayden Daniels at this point, as he's already dealt with a knee issue, a knee issue on his left knee, a hamstring issue on his right knee, and now you put his left elbow in to the injury report as he dislocated that in Sunday night's game against Seattle.
I saw the aftermath of that, and I was like, ooh, yeah.
That was ugly. That was definitely downright ugly.
It's like as if the injury report has been having Jayden Daniels do the hokey pokey. And I'm sorry for Commanders fans right now, that is absolutely not what it's all about.
I just feel like Jayden Daniels just, he wants to show his name, and that's why he tried so hard even at the end. He wanted to get into that end zone, and his receivers weren't doing it
And,
for him. So he tried to do it himself.
But on top of that, I think the injury bug has kind of plagued Washington heavily. I mean, there's 3 on Jayden already. Terry McLaurin has missed significant time with the quad. Noah Brown hasn't been right and back. Marshawn Lattimore's got an injury. Trey Amos had a hip injury along with it. There was an instance, I think, last week where Laramie Tunsil was out for an amount of time. Cosme at the beginning of the year was coming back from a torn ACL from the series from the game with Detroit. So injuries have not necessarily been the kindest thing for Washington this season, but the schedule also did them no favors either, as this was kind of the most brutal combination of 8 teams that Washington could play, with the exception of the Las Vegas Raiders. The NFC North, I've said this time and time again, is the best division of football. And then you have the AFC West that all of a sudden, 3 of these teams are now just suddenly like to the moon. One of them is going to get there faster than the other. And Denver and the Chargers have just kind of shot up, and the Chiefs are trying to win the turtle race to get there.
I don't know if it's a turtle. I don't know if it's a damn the tortoise or the hare, like, kind of deal. Like,
At
I don't know what part
right
of it
now,
is.
The Chiefs would be the tortoise because they started off.
They're poking their head out right now. They're trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think I made a bold prediction at the beginning of the season and Ruckus was not happy with me saying this, that I said that the AFC West crown was not going to go to Kansas City.
Dude, just you wait.
And my prediction actually said Denver.
I was going to say Denver.
I had it going to Denver.
Really looks good right now.
Well,
yeah.
I think we're also seeing a little bit of Tim Tebow Nix right now. If you're picking up the pun of what I'm putting down.
Yeah. Honestly, when Sean Payton did that with Russell Wilson, I thought he was crazy. And then he took a chance with Bo Nix, and hey, chances, sometimes they fail, sometimes they don't. And obviously it's not failing right now.
Even the experts were saying that if Denver got Bo Nix, Sean Payton was going to develop him to be something great. And this has been far and away the best quarterback that Sean Payton has had in his coaching career since Drew Brees. And Drew Brees is a GOAT in his own merit.
Yeah, that's just another element right there.
Yep. And on that note, we will now move on to our color commentary for this segment, or for this episode. And this segment's title is called Weighing It Out. The Dodgers win the World Series with one of the highest payrolls in Major League Baseball at around $350 million. With that has come the debate of the salary cap in MLB that has had some heated stances, including Bryce Harper coming at Rob Manfred sideways over it. So with the Dodgers winning the World Series and more discussions seemingly over time with the MLB and a salary cap, will this be something that will happen? And if so, what kind of cap would we rather see for it?
I mean, I
Well,
feel like it's bound to happen. You know, it's pushing towards it, and it's looking like it's gonna happen, but I don't see it happening for the next couple years.
I feel like the
Especially because you have
Yankees. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
especially because they have, there's a lot of players that already have, 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, and it'll be very dicey if they try to implement a salary cap when they already have contracts.
Yeah. But I will say this. I am in agreement that it, like Thanos, is inevitable. And as much as Bryce Harper wants to go to Rob Manfred and saying, "And I am Iron Man," like an Endgame, unfortunately, this is going to be bound to happen whether you like it or not, Bryce Harper.
To
I think it is going to happen, and I think it'll happen sooner rather than later, because I think this will be something that it'll be a hill that I think Rob Manfred will eventually die on over this within the next couple of years.
well, he's not even going to be the commissioner after his term is up. I think is what I heard was they're going to like vote someone else in, like he was just done. But the salary cap thing, I I honestly think that the Yankees are trying to adapt themselves to that because they haven't splurged a lot on a player since like Giancarlo Stanton. As far as like a player that came from another team and they gave him a big ass contract or took the contract, like I haven't seen them do what the Dodgers have been behaving like in quite some
The
time.
Yeah, the Yankees have adjusted. I think the Yankees have adjusted. I believe Boston, to a degree, has adjusted in trying to do that. So, I mean, there's been multiple teams that have kind of found ways to spend less. But I do believe that if we do have a salary cap, I think it's going to lean more toward a structure very similar to what the NBA would rather have or would have with luxury tax and apron and a first apron, second apron type of luxury tax system.
Yeah, because
And rather than a straight up hard cap like the NFL.
what I'm thinking is the pros and cons are the pros being that it in a sense wouldn't that force teams to spend more money on
It would
players.
incentivize I will say it will incentivize small market teams to be able to spend more money.
But if
Or
the owner is
it gives more
being
money.
sorry,
Oh, yeah, if an owner's being stingy, an owner's being stingy.
that's what I was gonna say. If it
Moneyball
was like
teams.
Dan Snyder or something like that, and they were just like, "Oh,
Oh
I'm
no,
just
no. Dan Snyder, throughout his entire time of being an absolute garbage owner for Washington. Oh, there were times when he spent frivolously. Albert Hainsworth, anybody? I believe Dan Snyder also that might have also been the reason why Deion Sanders prime time washed up in DC for a brief stint. There were times where he would splurge on players and it would go nowhere.
So my thing is why is Bryce Harper coming at Manfred sideways when Bryce Harper is basically at the end of his career? I mean, he has maybe what, 5 years, 7 years left, but he's been in the league for a very long time.
But let's consider his contract. Let's actually consider the contract here. He is currently under a 13-year, $330 million deal that has him getting paid 27.5 million just on his contract alone for 3 more seasons before it starts tapering off. And he's hitting a good amount also on the luxury cash or tax as well. Yeah, so 13 years, 330 million, and he doesn't become a free agent and he's only halfway through that deal. This deal is going to run him to the end of his career, practically. There's no deferred money, a full no trade clause, and a $20 million signing bonus paid in 2 installments.
I mean, I feel like that's his bad. I mean, 330 million when he got signed was, one of the top at that time. So, I mean, it's just like kind of like Shohei Ohtani. He's got 760 million, but in the next 10,
yeah, but there's so much deferred money involved with that.
Is there?
Oh yeah, there was deferred money because he signed the contract, but may not have noticed that the contract there's apparently some sort of important tax advantage
I haven't
that
pulled
allows him
out.
to illegally avoid paying about 90 million of California state tax.
So it says Otani's 10-year, 700 million contract with the Dodgers features a significant amount of deferred money, with $2 million paid annually for the first 10 seasons, 2024 through 2023, and the remaining 680 million to be paid out in equal installments of 68 million for the following 10 seasons, 2034 to 2043.
Oh wow, yeah.
That man's just gonna be fucking rich forever.
Yeah.
He don't.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
You're talking about for the first 10. See, he don't even have to play after the 10th year. He don't even have to play. He'll still get like that said, 680 million after that. That's crazy.
I mean, it's not quite necessarily like a Bobby Bonilla type ordeal. And we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more years of Bobby Bonilla Day left. This man is already 62 years old and is getting paid $1,193,000 from the Mets and another $500,000 from the Orioles every July 1st.
Wow.
The Orioles money runs out in 2028. The Mets money goes till 2035.
I mean, that just sounds like they made some good deals. Sounds like Bryce Harper should have been making some good deals back in the day.
Well, but I think when Bryce Harper was making his deal with with Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this was even a consideration back then.
Yeah, and I think that's more of the problem. A lot of people back in the day, they didn't understand this. I mean, some people did, some people didn't. And it sounds like he just got the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, we move on to the high heat, where we will recap week 9 of the NFL season. There were 4 teams on bye this week, as they were the Cleveland Browns, New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And our theme for this week in our high heat is 3 words. The Ravens defeat the Dolphins 28-6 on the Amazon Prime game. And my take here, especially with Lamar coming back up from injury, was Lamar looked good.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah. 18 for 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, was only sacked twice, and he only carried the ball 5 times for 14 yards. But I think the funny moment in that game was that Ollie Gordon gets flagged for a shot block, all because he slipped and fell. Slipped and fell and got flagged for a chop block.
Those Russ might still be trying to recover from the daylight savings change.
That game was played before the time change, my guy.
Well, times had to change anyways for the Dolphins because their GM is no longer.
Wow. Oh, wow. Loss of awareness on the calendar.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I
didn't
turned
know
it
daylight
into
saving
something
time
good,
was on
okay?
Wednesday.
I know there was an extra hour of sleep, but it wasn't on Wednesday night.
You guys can, we can end the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my. Our next game that we're going to have here is the Bears defeating the Bengals 47-42. And I will let one of y'all go first on that.
Help wanted. All right, Vincent, go ahead.
I would say Flacco looked good. Flacco looked good. It's just it's sad that he doesn't have a team to back him up, or he doesn't have a defense to back him up. But Flacco looked good.
Reminds you of old Peyton Manning in Indianapolis.
Yep.
But here's the stat line on Flacco for this game: 31 for 47, 470 yards, which he is the oldest quarterback to do so, or the only one to do so. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and was sacked 3 times. Yeah. 470 yards for Flacco. That is insane.
With 4 touchdowns on top of that. I mean, you have star wide receivers. I mean, you have Jamar Chase, you have T
Higgins.
Higgins. Yeah, I mean, you can get the job done. I mean, their run defense or their run offense is not. It's all right.
Chase,
but
well, I don't think the run game has been as effective for the Bengals as they would have liked.
Yeah. But I feel like the Bengals have always been a pass offense. I can't recall a time where the Bengals
I think those mid 2000s Bengals teams with Rudy Johnson, though they had a stronger pass game with Chad Johnson and TJ Hushmanzada, Rudy Johnson wasn't a bad back. That would have it make sense. But my biggest thing for that game was defensive improvements needed.
For sure.
Because even though the Bears won the turnover battle with 3 turnovers, because Joe Flacco also had a fumble lost, it did not look like a game where Chicago had 3 turnovers. Because this game was only by 5 and they had to win it in the last possible second.
Well, I mean, that's what happened last week. And I mean, you see how the Jets did it as well. I feel like the Bengals defense just crumbles when it's time to just put the foot down. They can't put their foot down.
It's like their defense can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah.
The next game we have on the queue is the Carolina Panthers stunning the Green Bay Packers 16-13 on a last-second field goal.
All right, I'll go first. We had 3 words. doubted Dowdle benched. Meaning I, like an idiot, thought that the Panthers offense wasn't going to do well against the Packers run defense with Micah Parsons. I thought Dowdle was going to get swallowed up any chance they could. But instead, he scores about 20 to 30 points in fantasy, and he was just on the bench for my team, shaking my head.
I sat Dowdle this week too, but I also was not expecting that
I didn't
as
sit
much.
him. I kept that guy in. I knew he was gonna do some. I knew he was gonna do some damage.
Well, I knew he was gonna. I knew that there was gonna be something to damage, but it's hard when you have both Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, and any one of them could have been the back.
Yeah, I feel like
So I went on the safe side and I tried to play Bam Knight, but I was already up in my 12-teamer. I'm 6-3 in that one. And I won because I think I won that one mostly because of the Charger. Like really the Chargers, I think, was my big. Oh, DJ Moore. DJ Moore was my big difference maker. And Kynie Fairbairn was probably my biggest difference maker.
Yeah, I feel like the Panthers are actually phasing out Chuba Hubbard because you don't see him get as much touches as Rico Dowdle now, especially since his injury.
Rico, I think the injury did not help, but Rico, while Chuba was injured, did earn it.
Yeah, he when he was injured, he showed that he can do it. And I think the Panthers are actually, pushing towards Rico Dowdle more touches, for more goal line stances. I mean,
And
I
yeah,
like Chuba
everything
Hubbard,
that Dallas wouldn't do.
exactly.
But
And, go ahead.
I'm going to say my bigger take on this game, and here's where my 3 words came in. Decisions make differences. And in continuing to talk about Rico Dowdle, he did make one boneheaded decision in the game on the second touchdown, doing the Hingle McCringleberry 2 pumps celebration. Probably will end up with
though.
yeah. But guess what the ref did on top of that behind him, which kind of makes it hilarious. He threw the flag.
He threw that flag.
Right up in the air.
Man.
It was still hilarious. Like that was still hilarious. Keegan Michael Key even caught on to it. In talking about that, I think it was with Rich Eisen that it was either with Rich. Yeah, I think it was Rich Eisen that he was talking with about that. But here was the other decision that made an impact in that game. Dave Canales on the opening coin toss. The Panthers win the toss and choose to receive the football. Most of the time now you would choose to defer to the second half. But the special teams coordinator and Canales kind of caught on and said, hey, if we do this certain way, we'll have control of the second half of where we decide to kick the game-winning field goal. And lo and behold, it happened.
Mm-hmm. So my take would be, my 3 words would be Tucker Kraft injury. And I say that because, Tucker Kraft just came off of a big game. When he was playing Pittsburgh, he had 2 touchdowns, 143 yards. And, that is a big man. And whenever they are in the goal line area, they always look for him. But they didn't have him.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and Tucker Kraft has been a solid tight end throughout this entire season. And Green Bay now will have to look at what next man up is going to look like, and that currently is Luke Musgrave. Yeah, Luke Musgrave is now set to be the next man up as far as a tight end would go.
Yeah, it's gonna be some big shoes to fill for sure. I mean,
Yep.
Tucker Craft was good at getting the ball and then getting the yards with it. You know,
Maybe they pick
yeah, it
up
was very.
Tanyan.
Either Tanyan?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
he's on
let me
the. I think
see
he's on the
who-
Chiefs practice squad.
But that's if Green Bay's able to eventually steal him. I mean, they have Josh White not Josh White, Josh Weil and Luke Musgrave and John Fitzpatrick as the other three, while Tucker Craft is now on IR with that
ACL.
with that ACL injury. Yep. Yep. But now the next game we have to talk about is the Patriots defeating the Falcons 24-23. And also this Drake London, the first thing I'm going to say about this is Drake London's a beast. And this was a big breakout game for him. But my biggest thing came about of it is Penix's inexperience showed, especially late. And that was kind of added on because the biggest thing that exposed that was that while Atlanta had an 8-yard touchdown pass and John Parker Romo missed the extra point to tie it, Atlanta had another chance to get a game-winning drive together. They were all the way to the New England 48-yard line. And Penix gets called for intentional grounding. And that penalty set Atlanta back to where they had to punt instead of try to be aggressive and go for it. And try and get an opportunity to win the football game. And that's hard because Atlanta was right there.
No comment on my end.
Yep. The next game, Pittsburgh defeating Indianapolis 27-20. And I know this one's rough for you, Vincent, especially being as a Colts fan.
Man, I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, the biggest thing I will say for that was turnovers are essential. Pittsburgh had 6 of them. And it wasn't that Indiana Jones had a horrible game in terms of the stat line minus the interceptions. But unfortunately, when it came down to the Indiana Jones and the Curtain of Steel won this one by forcing turnovers.
Their defense definitely showed out.
Agreed.
But I will say this, for them to still stay in it, in spite of them losing, in spite of those 6 turnovers, to lose that game only by 7, kind of shows some resilience out of the Colts to be able to stay in it, even when things aren't going in their favor.
You're preaching to the choir, Spennis.
You know, when they got Indiana Jones, I did not like it, especially because I seen him with the Patriots, and he did.
Nope. That's not the right Jones.
Oh, it's not.
It's Daniel
No.
Jones, not Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is in San Francisco.
Mac Jones was a former Patriot, though, to his credit.
Where did
But
Daniel Jones come from?
Daniel
He
Jones
was
comes
the
from the
Giants.
Giants.
He was Danny.
Giants. That's right. I'm
It was
sorry.
Danny.
Yes.
It was Danny
Sorry.
Dimes, who we then eventually he was playing so bad that we eventually called him Danny Pennies.
They at least
But
had
then
some
he
daylight savings stuff to deal with.
That's right. He was with the Giants. I get the blue mixed up, guys. I get the blue. He just wants to stay blue.
or just get the red removed.
No, yeah. I mean, I didn't honestly. I didn't like the call to grab him, but I mean, I like that they did. He really seems to mingle with the team, and and keep the team, keep the team moving.
And I want to say, due to something that we're going to talk about later, there's going to be an interesting problem on Indianapolis's hands. And I'm not talking just on the short term. It's because of a contract situation. But we'll get to that later. And the next game I have is the Jacksonville Jaguars defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 30-29 in overtime as Devon Hamilton swatted away a 2-point try to secure the victory. And though I initially wanted to say welcome back, Brock, this was more about Duval coming up clutch.
No comment.
And another notable thing from this Cam Little now has the longest field goal in NFL history, regardless of conditions.
What was it? 68 yards?
It was a 68-yard field goal. He kicked a 70-yarder in preseason, but because it wasn't a regular season game, it didn't count.
Yeah, I saw that kick live, and man, I don't even know how he can get it. I don't even know how he can get it all the way over there.
Yeah. And Brock Bowers is insane for this stat line from this game. If you had Brock Bowers on your fantasy team, congratulations. You probably won your you won your game this week. 12 receptions, 127 yards, and 3 tutties. This was a coming out party for Brock Bowers this season. How long it'll last, God only knows. And the last 4:00 game that we have is Chiefs-Bills. And the Buffalo Bills beating the Kansas City Chiefs 28-21. And I went with another alliterative one for this one. Say rivalry remains relevant, as this is probably one of the better NFL rivalries that we currently have in the league today.
Yeah, we gave them a treat instead of a trick this time around. I don't know what the hell that game was. Like, as soon as that first drive happened, I was like, yep, this is going to be one of those games where it almost felt like the Brazil game to me. And I was just like, well,
Dalton Kincaid had a game.
Their whole team had a game. Our team was kicking our own ass. Okay. We were. Well, it also didn't help that we kept on getting engulfed by the Bills defense, but my God, I was checked out by halftime because we didn't really do much. And then
y'all only committed 1 turnover the whole game. It was only 1 turnover, and it occurred late.
I still was just like, okay, this is going nowhere. because it was like a double-digit lead at one point during the second half, and I was just like, screw it, I'm gonna go watch something else.
Yeah. It was 14. It was 21-13 and 20. It was really 28-13 through in the third quarter. But Kansas City didn't lie down. It didn't lie down. They just ran out of gas.
I was gonna say something along the lines of that in my head, but I just didn't know how all of that was gonna formulate into something that made sense.
Well, I'd just say at least they didn't. They didn't quit.
I don't think Pacheco would have helped either, to be honest, even if he was healthy.
I'm gonna say Pacheco really didn't matter all that much because, I mean, the biggest thing that I think the Chiefs probably could have improved on that could have shifted something. They were 3 for 13 on third down. I think if that was probably like closer to maybe 6 or 7, they probably have 7 more points on the board. Yeah.
All right.
And then I am actually not going to talk about the Commanders game, although Darnold did dominate it. And Sam Darnold is being very effective under Clint Kubiak.
Yep.
I'm going to say this. Watch out for that name in terms of head coaching searches here this offseason. I'd say keep that name in the back of your mind. And now we move on to the film room. Vincent, I'm sorry for this, but unfortunately you're not going to have any points for this, but we'll at least hear your picks on it. As we have
no worries.
We have 4 college football and 4 NFL games this week. Is the selection was quite limited because nothing really was sticking out. The first game we have is an American Athletic Conference game. The Memphis Tigers versus the Tulane Green Wave.
I'm riding the wave, baby. Even if I don't care if it's green, blue, clear. Let's go Tulane.
I am also riding the wave. I am taking Tulane as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ride the wave with you guys.
Yep. All right. The next one, BYU, Texas Tech.
I'm going with Mahomes' Texas Tech Red Raiders, baby, over BYU.
I am also taking the Red Raiders.
I don't know. I like BYU. I like
All
BYU.
All right, there you have it, folks.
Our SEC matchup here is Texas A&M against Missouri.
Even though I pay taxes in Missouri, doesn't mean I have to like their team. All right, Texas A&M, here we go.
I am in agreement here. Gig 'em, Texas A&M.
Hey, I live in Missouri. Might as well take Missouri.
And then the last one here,
Gotta give
Notre
them
Dame
underdogs.
versus Navy.
the Fighting Irish versus in the Navy.
The Navy midshipmen.
I'm gonna take the Golden Domers, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I mean, the Naval Academy is in Annapolis, Maryland. However, I am taking the Golden Domers.
Yeah, as much as I don't like to say it because I'm a USC fan, I think I'm gonna have to take them too.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel bad because the Jules Shillelagh was green this year instead of red.
Lame.
Don't like it.
Yeah, it had to be that an emerald was put it. I mean, granted, Ruckus predicted that it would be an emerald, and I picked a ruby. So next up is the NFL. Patriots Bucks.
I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Patriots.
I also am going Tampa Bay. As good as New England has looked, this one was a very 50-50 game, but I think with 2 weeks to prepare, I think Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles and all them are going to have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, I like the Bucks with this one. They had 2 weeks to prepare, like you said, and you can't bet against Baker Mayfield.
And,
He always
oh yeah,
somehow he always pulls it out.
This season he has made that very, very difficult to bet against. I mean, Bo Nix has probably been even more difficult to have that with, but Baker Mayfield's been really close. And this game is at home for the Bucks. Rams 49ers. This game is at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara.
Oh, god damn it. I didn't know that factor. I still think the Rams are going to beat the 49ers just based off of the healthy talent that the Rams have over the Niners, even though the Niners have been kind of getting bailed out here and there.
Well, I am actually going to take the Rams as well because I think they are the healthier team. But Stafford's doing his thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Rams on this one just because I just hate the 49ers.
I love George Kittle, but gotta take the Rams here. And the reason why this game is not at SoFi is because in SoFi, the LA Chargers are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I am picking
we got?
the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Chargers. That defense is scary when it works.
I don't know how well they will do as far as forcing turnovers on the Chargers. I am going to go with Ladidi McConkey and Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I gotta take the Chargers with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an LA guy, so I gotta keep with my LA roots. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're in SoFi. Chargers have been looking good this year. They've had a couple bad games, but I gotta take the Chargers.
Yeah, and I had to do the substitute teacher bit on Lad McConkey, which was how that came about. The Ladidi McConkey.
Okay.
And then on Monday Night Football, it's in Lambeau, Eagles-Packers.
I'm still taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Eagles just simply because I think they will be able to force Jordan Love into mistakes. Oh,
Yeah.
and I also forgot to mention this as far as trade deadline things. The Eagles were big buyers at the deadline.
Oh, hell yeah. It feels like Super Bowl 59 all over again. Watch it happen. Watch it be a rematch.
Because the Eagles... Yeah, well, here we go. We are now going to talk about the trade deadline. And let's go ahead and start with those Eagles deals as Jair Alexander
and Jalen Phillips.
And Jalen Phillips as we round third and head for home. We now have Jair Alexander, Jalen Phillips to Philly. How do we feel about those two deals?
I'll start. Jalen Phillips is having a good year. He was rumored to be traded to the Chiefs, but God knows that we wouldn't be able to afford his contract extension. Jair Alexander, though, he hasn't really been playing all that much. So it's just kind of like, well, what do you do there as far as the Eagles' corner situation? I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I just don't have high hopes for Jair. But I have good praise for Jalen Phillips. I think he's going to be one of those guys that helps fortify that D-line like they did last year in order to get that trophy.
Yeah, they are trying to get other corners to pair with Quinyon Mitchell on the other side to try and lock that up. That is the reason why I think the Eagles are trying to, because they got Michael Carter II and now Jair Alexander. So there's going to be some competition and even some swapping around that Vic Fangio is going to be able to do. Jalen Phillips will add versatility to that pass rush, especially with them also getting Brandon Graham back. But I think, this is just Howie Roseman being Howie Roseman. But this is more aggressive buying in the deadline than what we normally see from Roseman. The next one here is Jacoby Myers going to Duval and taking it and going to the Jaguars. How do we feel about that?
I think I think it'll be okay. I don't know if it's gonna be like a as soon as the gun shot goes off, he just goes running like crazy and does all these things. I think it'll be a slow learning process for Jacoby Myers trying to learn the playbook of the Jaguars, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it's a Liam Cohen offense, so it'll be interesting. Trevor Lawrence, timing-wise, will be interesting. Brian Thomas has fallen off. Travis Hunter's hurt. So I could see why the Jaguars bought on this. I mean, they only gave up a 4th and a 6th, which even for Jacoby Myers, that's a little high. It's a little high for what I would have thought. Probably a 5th would have been enough.
Yeah.
But then Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown, although De'Ami Brown's in concussion protocol, they've been good there. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Let's just make sure he doesn't throw the ball backwards recklessly to Chandler Jones.
Good times.
Yeah, I like Jacoby Myers going to Jacksonville. I mean, I think Jacksonville's just trying to solidify, their offense. I mean, they have a good run back right now.
Yeah, I mean,
what's his name?
ETN's coming back
Etienne?
into form.
Yeah.
ETN kind of having a slight build back up.
I mean, Jacksonville, they started out hot and now they're just, they're starting to whittle down. So I think Jacoby Myers going to Jacksonville will be really, really good for them.
Yeah, it'll give them a fresh set of or I should say a better change of pace. Rashid Shaheed going to Seattle. How do we like this one?
I think we'll see how it progresses on his part, but I think it'll be a good addition for the Seahawks because besides Jackson's JSN, who else do you really?
Cooper Kupp's hurt right now, but Cooper Kupp's been serviceable.
Yeah, paper bones. But yeah, I think Shaheed is actually a good offensive weapon compared to Myers. I think Shaheed has got more potential.
Rashid Shaheed in a Kubiak offense, that speed is going to be very interesting to see what defenses are going to do, especially if they can get the timing with him and Darnold going right away.
Yeah, I feel like Seattle just needed another person, I watched the game on Monday and, 9 times out of 10, they were just throwing it to Njigba.
You get a Njigba on the one side, maybe Cooper Kupp comes back, and then maybe you run Rashid Shaheed in the slot. And then you run Shaheed in the slot.
Yeah, but all they have is Njigba right now. So I think Shaheed going to Seattle would be a good thing for them. At least they'll have, when defenses, when good defenses, double down on Njigba, they can always hit him in the slot.
They can have Shaheed ready for a one-on-one, yeah.
Yeah.
2 players now go to Dallas. Logan Wilson leaves Cincinnati, and Quinnen Williams, although this was the second blockbuster deal for the Jets, Quinnen Williams going to Dallas. And the Quinnen Williams deal, I believe also it included a 2027 first round pick and a 2026 second. How do we feel about this?
Well, I don't think Logan Wilson's going to be that big of a pickup, especially because the Bengals defense has been the motel on this equation. Not being able to defend to get the ball back to the quarterback. Quinnen Williams, I haven't really seen much film on him or seen much on his end, but I think if he can turn the corner, I think he would be a benefit for the Cowboys. But we'll see what Jerry World's got cooked up.
I don't know. Whatever Dallas is trying to do, it's just I don't think it's happening. Dallas needs to get rid of freaking Jerry Jones. They need to get that man out of there.
Let's say this.
I don't know what Dallas is doing, but they're not doing it right.
I'm like, the Jets, and we'll talk more about some of this ammunition here later, because we got another deal for them that they acquire a bunch of this. But we are now in a position where you've got all these assets you're now going to get. You better not miss. You have all this stuff, you best not miss. But it's hard when your owner there in the Big Apple, or I should say more so East Rutherford, New Jersey, is a little bit delusional. I mean, it's delusional owner trading players and picks to another delusional owner. Yes, this is the same owner that said that had certain people say don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because his Madden rating is too low. Yes, this actually happened. And then last but not least, the biggest deal of the deadline, the Colts get a little saucy as they get Sauce Gardner, trading away Adonai Mitchell and 2 first-round picks.
That was a surprising one.
So the Jets...
Are you looking at their depth chart?
Yeah. Oh, no, I am looking at what picks they have. Yeah, I'm looking at what their pick setup is looking like. They have 2 first round and 2 second round picks in 2026. They have 3 first round picks in 2027. So in the next 2 drafts, you have 5 picks in day 1 and another 3 in day 2. So the Jets are very much in a position of you better not miss. And Adonai Mitchell, I think, is going to amount very little as far as that with quarterback play. But Sauce, especially if they can get their other corner, Travarius Ward, healthy, oh my goodness, that secondary is going to be dangerous.
Hey, I like the trade.
But,
I like that trade. Especially because Indy looks like it's in a position where it's not gonna need, it's not gonna need the first, second, round pick, They can give out some trade, or they
Oh,
can give
here
out some picks.
or can they? Because
Or
here's the other bit of concern. Sauce did just get a major contract extension, and the Jets did dump him off pretty early. The Colts quarterback situation right now. Daniel Indiana Jones currently right now is a bridge quarterback. He's been playing like as if it's going to be, I think they should extend him, but there could be a situation where the money isn't quite right. I know that there's a franchise tag, but you can only do so much with that. And franchise tagging a quarterback in this case might not be the best move, especially because y'all ended up believe Daniel Jones was I believe that was it was only a $14 million deal. And I'm pretty sure that the next contract for him is probably going to be closer to 25 or 30 million. Will the Colts have it? Will the Colts have it, or are they going to be looking more toward trying to rebuild the whole thing again?
I mean, I think that is just more of a what time will tell. That's
Yeah.
more
I
of
mean,
what Daniel Jones can do. I mean,
it's a
and
we'll cross that bridge when we get there type of
yeah,
situation, but I am highlighting that because this deal does bring about that concern for a reason. Because their whole approach to Daniel Jones coming in there was only to be a bridge quarterback for say maybe Arch if they were looking at it, one of these other top quarterbacks that's currently in college right now. I mean, now the New York Jets have 5 first-round picks, and somewhere along the way they're going to pick up they're probably going to pick up a quarterback in the first round. So now the whole thing is do you try and get the most out of every mile with Daniel Jones, or do you actually stick to the script, have it go with a bridge quarterback situation, and try and find a new one? I mean, there's a bunch of decisions that Indianapolis has to make, and none of them are easy.
Yep.
yeah.
And
All right.
on that note, this will do it for Ruckus and the Menace episode number 161. We would like to thank Vincent for joining us this recording, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be a big surprise if we kind of have him back in the future.
Yep.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah,
for coming, Vincent.
I'd definitely love to do this. Thanks for having me. And we're gonna be looking for that three-peat. All dynasties hit a three-peat, so we'll see what the Dodgers can do next year. I know they got some contracts coming up, but
Foreshadowing.
I don't think it's anybody big though. It's some of them.
Well, don't forget what happened the last time somebody was trying to say that they had a team coming for a 3P.
Oh yeah, but this is LA. It's a little different.
Yeah, because the last time there was a 3P in LA was definitely the early 2000s, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, we just we got to grind. We got to do what we got to do, and basically, the regular season has to be a little bit better. We got to get to a point where we're the 1 seed or the 2 seed, and not have to fight our way through the playoffs. And if we can do that, then there's a big possibility that we can get it done.
And on that note, we will conclude the episode. Hugs and hand pounds, everybody.
Deuces.
All right.